Tonight, remembering Joey. We're hearing from the family members of the teenager who died in a vehicle crash earlier this week. Plus, after the workforce was forced to shift gears during the pandemic, businesses are now wondering how to move forward in a post-pandemic world. And low supply means high demand, and that is driving home equity values through the roof, leaving homeowners rejoicing.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke. Thanks for joining us. The Grand Rapids community is still reeling from tragedy this week after two of their own died suddenly and tragically. A crash involving an ambulance and a dump truck happened Tuesday morning at the intersection of County Roads 336 and 57 in Lawrence Township. That's just north of Grand Rapids. Authorities say the dump truck T-boned the ambulance. That crash claimed the lives of 17-year-old Joseph Latimer and 51-year-old Troy Betcher. Two others are being treated at local area hospitals for life-threatening injuries. CBS 3's Natalie Grant spoke with the family of the 17-year-old boy who lost his life that day and shares Joey's lasting legacy.
He was just a big, beautiful, wonderful boy.
When you ask William Latimer how he remembers his son, unmatched kindness comes to mind.
He would smile and giggle that would just light up the room, and it was just somebody that when people met that they never forgot. You know, he always seemed to find a special place in everybody's heart that met him.
Joey was on his way to a Grand Rapids hospital via ambulance Tuesday after having a seizure. A dump truck hit the ambulance, killing Joey and one paramedic. The Grand Rapids high schooler had a life of health complications ranging from autism to cerebral palsy. Those who knew him best say he never let the challenges get him down.
He battled a lot of that stuff, but he was always very happy. Even it didn't seem to bother him at all. He was very much a fighter. He never gave up, ever, on anything.
His family hoping their son's story can inspire others to live life with a little more happiness, just like Joey. Now, with an outpouring of community support, Williams says Joey's impact will be felt for years to come.
It's nice to know that so many people care, about my son.
Joey's funeral will be held at the Rowe Funeral Home in Grand Rapids on June 16th. If you would like to help the Latimer family, we have a link to their GoFundMe page on our website, cbs3duluth.com. The man accused in a 2017 cold case is now facing a more serious charge. Police used DNA evidence to connect Blake Stengel to the 2017 death of Courtney Fenske. She was found dead in her Hibbing home. She'd been strangled. Stengel originally faced a second-degree manslaughter charge, but that was up today to second-degree murder. That likely means the prosecution feels they can prove Stengel intended to kill Fenske. He had been out on bail, but is now back in custody, awaiting arraignment on the new charge. A man and a woman from northern Minnesota have been sentenced to decades in prison on child pornography charges. 31-year-old Matthew Gunderson of Sturgeon Lake was given a 30-year sentence. 39-year-old Amanda Walsh of Aiken has been handed 19 years. According to court documents, in January of 2019, both Gunderson and Walsh engaged in sexual abuse of a minor for the purpose of producing child pornography. In addition to their prison sentences, both have to go through 10 years of supervised release and will be required to register as sex offenders. A Brainerd man will spend 15 months in prison for killing and beheading a 700-pound black bear. 39-year-old James Stimmick killed the bear with a compound bow in September of 2019. It happened on the Red Lake Reservation. The bear was too big to remove completely, so Stimmick cut off its head to be used as a trophy. Stimmick is not a tribal member and entered the grounds without permission. Well, meanwhile, about 250 people were arrested during a massive protest against Enbridge's Line 3 reconstruction project this week. Protesters trying to stop the final leg of the project took over a pump station near Park Rapids on Monday. They locked about 43 Enbridge workers behind the front gate. Those workers were eventually evacuated. Protesters also put up barricades and dug trenches across roads. And another protest was scheduled for tonight in Minneapolis outside U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar's office. Take Action Minnesota says Klobuchar should pressure President Joe Biden to halt construction on Line 3. Dave is joining us now for a quick look at the weather. Dave, some sprinkles, at least here in Canal Park tonight, but it sounds like there might be more action elsewhere.
Yeah, there were much bigger storms going on through Wisconsin since the last time we spoke. The biggest of the storms is leaving, but in its wake, it left 2 to 3 inches of rain in the southern parts of Iron County and the southern parts of Ashland County. And so folks there are facing a flood advisory until 10:30 p.m. The ditches are getting pretty full in that neck of the woods. And of course, the advice offered by the National Weather Service is turn around, don't drown. If it looks flooded, stay away, let that water recede. As we go on through tonight, there still is a chance for precip because we're caught in between low pressure systems, and there's at least 2 more that could be coming across through tomorrow evening, meaning more rain chances here for our region. Quick look at the short-term forecast says 30% chance for more showers and storms tonight, just in case you haven't seen any yet. And then it turns into a 70% chance for all zones tomorrow, and the cloud cover and an easterly wind will take temperatures down only the mid-60s. Will that be for everybody or just by the lake? I'll let you know coming up right after a couple more minutes.
Thank you, Dave. Inside the Wisconsin Institutes for Medical Research, a team of researchers is trying to take technology from the COVID-19 vaccines to treat things that do not have a cure. Tests include using rats with spinal cord issues that are currently untreatable, with the goal of giving them the ability to walk again. The research is looking at even treating diabetic wounds that otherwise would not heal on their own. The mRNA treatment mimics skin tissue, allowing it to heal in 2 to 6 weeks.
You're using the cells inside your body to produce the drug. So you're essentially creating a factory for production of treatments inside your own body.
The one obstacle researchers face is finding a way to not have to store the mRNA technology at incredibly cold temperatures. Professor Murphy added this is an exciting discovery that could change the future of medicine as we know it. After a year of getting familiar with staying home, loosened COVID restrictions are calling for many workers to head back to the office. CBS 3's Abigail Smith talks to local employers about what we're seeing locally and how that's impacting the economy.
After many of Minnesota Power's non-essential employees spent the last year working from home, company spokespeople expect it won't be long before their downtown headquarters is busy again. The company plans to move to a hybrid approach this fall, with some employees spending half their time in the office and half at home.
This hybrid approach really marries the expectations of our employees who appreciate flexibility within their work schedule. And of course, it recognizes the professionalism and the proficiency in which they did their jobs during the pandemic while working remotely.
Christy Stokes, president of Greater Downtown Council, spent the last year studying downtown companies' plans to have employees return to office. She says the data collected in April showed 50% of workers were still working from home, while the others were back on site.
We were seeing the trend of businesses coming back for the summer season. We know there will be more trickling in during the summer and probably up until Labor Day, but we're starting to really see quite a bit of a comeback.
Through Stokes' survey, she says the data showed many people want to return on site, but many companies plan to remain flexible with a hybrid approach as well. Either way, businesses are bracing for more transitions.
Our workplace has changed in so many ways that we can expect that people will need a little bit of time to adapt to change.
Stokes said based on the survey results, she expects about 68% of the downtown workforce will be back to the office over the summer. Minnesota's governor wants state lawmakers to put aside their differences and pass a budget on the first day of the upcoming special session. Walz issued that challenge today. The governor says the latest economic forecast shows Minnesota is looking at an additional $1.8 billion in surplus. That's in addition to the $1.6 billion surplus Walz announced in February. While the governor reminded Minnesotans these are projections, he says there's no reason to believe they won't be accurate.
Gives us the opportunity, looking to the future, to make those investments that make a difference in Minnesota, making investments in our children, making investments in our infrastructure, making investments in the things that make Minnesota strong.
Minnesota lawmakers are set to consider the state budget during a special session that starts on Monday. It's a great time to be a homeowner, as home equity value has risen nearly $2 trillion over the last year. That translates into an average gain of more than $33,000 per borrower in their home equity, or an increase of nearly 20%. Equity is defined as the difference between the value of a home and how much is owed on its mortgage. CoreLogic, which keeps track of the numbers, reports the record low supply of homes has led to record home prices that drive the trend. The gains are enough for many homeowners to no longer be underwater on their mortgages or owe more than their home is worth. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, summer is kicking off, meaning high school seniors across the Northland are celebrating their accomplishments after an extraordinary year. We'll take you to Denfeld next.
Well, the rain is really pounding our studio roof right now, and maybe it's coming from this towering cumulus cloud that was spotted over Culver about an hour and a half ago. It may have taken it that long to get here to the Twin Ports. That cloud and others have been dropping some rain around the region, as we do need. Will it last? I'll let you know for how long, coming up right after our break.
Gail King, Anthony Mason, and Tony DeCopel, weekday mornings on CBS.
Would you like to lose a pound of fat a day?
You have to weigh yourself every morning, and when you just see the pound go off every morning, it just keeps you going.
Step on the scale and you see the weight that you lost, and you're like, oh, this is so easy. Why didn't I do this before?
Order online or call today for a free consultation.
Excitement is building for something big. The Girl Scout Thin Mints Blizzard exclusively at DQ. It's an iconic combo. Pieces of Thin Mints cookies mixed with refreshing cool mint and world-famous DQ vanilla soft serve, making a treat so innovative that every bite is a sweet feat of ingenuity. In the Girl Scout Thin Mints Blizzard at DQ. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
I chose a career that isn't easy, it's dangerous, and it's hard. Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College has set me up with everything I need to succeed. Through challenging classes, longer defensive tactics training, and instructors who work in the industry, Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College is setting me up for success.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call the number on your screen and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month. So call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-945-8449 to receive your free Carefree Dental Card information kit.
The U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Museum is for everyone. Visit the Great Wall of Inductees, shoot some pucks, and hit the gift shop. Celebrating the history of American hockey through exhibits and memorabilia. The U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Museum, a must-stop for hockey fans everywhere.
As a person with a disability who values living independently and being safe, let's keep each other safe, Minnesota.
People with disabilities and people feeling the effects of aging. Roll up your sleeves and stay safe. Sign up today for Minnesota's Vaccine Connector program. Join the millions of people who have safely received a COVID-19 vaccine. It's the best thing you can do to support our local businesses and safely return to a more normal lifestyle. For further assistance, contact your COVID community coordinator at Access North.
I never thought that you could lose weight without working out, but this is one of those programs that you don't have to work out.
In the first 40 days, I lost 28 pounds.
If you've got that, don't worry about that. Healthy Systems USA.
CBS 3 Weather is brought to you by Lulich Implement. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
30% were the odds for storms paying off around our region tonight. For a lot of towns, I guess you could technically say that turned into a 100% chance because thunderstorms really rumbled through northern Wisconsin, and Minnesota's been getting some showers too. But the biggest of the deal was in northern Wisconsin. We got some hailstones to report. Seeley, 0.7 of an inch diameter. Butternut, 1.5 inches. And of course, Hayward says, hold my beverage, 1.75 inch hailstone there. So when you get a severe thunderstorm warning, you need to take it seriously because those things dropping out of the sky can damage vehicles, roofs, and your head too. So that's why we do have to be careful. And there's still a 30 to 70% chance for more of this action through tomorrow night. We'll talk more about what's to follow on Saturday coming up in just a bit. But here's what we have current condition-wise in the Twin Ports. You see this shot of downtown Duluth shows a lot of persistent fog still with us. And up over the hill at the airport, the current temp is 62. Relative humidity is 96%, so lakeside communities will have to face a fair amount of fog through tomorrow morning. Easterly wind is going 11 miles per hour right now. Could gust towards 20 tomorrow, and that'll help cool things down for a good portion of our region. The warm spell, if not broken, will be bent a little bit for a couple days. Our air pressure, 29.88 inches of mercury. Current regional temperatures falling into the 60s for the Upper Peninsula. And for Wisconsin by the lake, we're dropping into the 50s, but still holding on to the 70s farther inland, like in Solon Springs, Hayward, and Trigo. Minnesota numbers are falling to the low 60s from Cloquet to Moose Lake and upper 50s for much of the North Shore. Still, there's a warm streak going along the Mesabi Range and then picking up on the Vermilion as well. Here in Minnesota, those current temperatures are still mid to upper 70s, but International Falls has dipped into the 60s, and that's a sign of the cooler weather to come. Tomorrow, a lot of towns will be in the 60s, though down towards Hayward, it'll still be summery and warm there. Doppler map right now shows not too much action going on in Minnesota, though we have had some decent showers here in the Duluth Superior area in the past 15 minutes. Still a line of showers and storms, though, working through Wisconsin. And do keep in mind, there's a chance it could redevelop tonight and come back again tomorrow with yet another low pressure system or two coming our way. That's why till tomorrow night we have a chance for more precip. And discounting what's already fallen today, another 1/10 to 1/3 of an inch could fall around the region by tomorrow night. And of course, we need that rain, so if we get it, we'll put it to good use. Although hopefully, you know, like 2 inches they have down towards places like Southern Ashland County. Maybe we don't need it that fast, but 1/3 of an inch would be nice. Now, tonight, temperature-wise in Minnesota, look for lows from 48 by the lake to 60 inland, 30% chance for precip. 30% chance for this business to continue in Wisconsin and Michigan as well. Low temps 50 to 62, warmer by the inland areas and cooler by the lake. For tomorrow, daytime high temps, Wisconsin, Michigan, 60s by the lake, but still upper 80s inland, 70% chance for another round of storms. Minnesotans get a 70% chance as well with 50s by the lake and 73 to 80 inland. So there's the temperatures coming down at least a bit. And then once we get into Saturday, high pressure takes over, the lows go away, sunshine abounds, and temperatures will run a much narrower range, probably upper 70s to low 80s for all zones, rather than swinging and missing and going wild with 40s by the lake and 90s inland like we've had the past couple of days, Kristen.
Thanks, Dave. Denfeld High School celebrated its graduating class tonight at their 96th commencement ceremony. This group of seniors had to overcome many challenges this year, from distance learning to canceled events. Today, 183 graduates walked across the stage to receive their diploma in front of friends and family. The theme of today's ceremony was about loss, gain, and perseverance. Students and staff who spoke touched on how they turned their losses into lessons.
They lost a lot of the traditional things, but in many ways, they learned lessons that were completely different than any other class has ever learned. And those things are really important, too.
And we just want to wish you congratulations to the Denfeld High School class of 2021. Post-pandemic shortages are becoming a big issue as things creep back toward normal. And the latest shortage here in the Northland is boats. RJ Sport and Cycle in Duluth has a 4,000 square foot showroom that is normally jam-packed with all types of boats. Now it has just 4, and 3 of them are already sold. Tony Bianchi, who works in sales at RJ's, tells us he first started seeing a huge demand for boats last summer. He says the pandemic made staycations popular, and in the land of 10,000 lakes, boats started becoming an even hotter commodity.
The factories are only able to build so many boats, and they are tailored to build enough boats for the normal demand. And with the increase in the numbers of new boat owners, they can't keep up at the moment.
Bianchi says he is getting calls from Montana to Chicago for people looking for new boats. Still to come, as world leaders gather in England for the G7 summit, a new sculpture hopes to catch their eye. We'll have the details next.
CBS3 Live Cams, brought to you by KohlerChev.com, now featuring the Kohler Express Deal online buying solution. KohlerChev.com, a better way to buy.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health pediatrician Jonathan Knight talks about the importance of vision screening for children.
Vision screening is really important. A lot of disorders present early on. We can pick them up early on. And in fact, a lot of vision loss can be prevented. The risk of that can be reduced by as much as 50% by the age of 7. So if we identify it early, we can make some changes to prevent some blindness. So we actually start examining children's eyes right away when they're born. We have a tool that we use at every well check called an ophthalmoscope that we use to examine children's eyes to identify for any early problems that may arise. So it may not seem like a vision exam because they're not reading the eye chart, but we're actually looking at their eyes and trying to identify things that might cause some problems later on in life. One thing we look for a lot is cataracts, and if you don't identify those early in infancy, they can lead to permanent blindness.
Other things Dr. Knight looks for include if a child has difficulty focusing, if they don't respond when you look and smile at them, if one eye is brighter than the other, or if one eye wanders.
There are a lot of things that you can find out if you know what to look for. One of the things I want to say is that some kids, you wouldn't know they have a vision problem until later, but you can pick it up earlier if you use some sort of instrument-based screening as young as 1. Many kids can be put in glasses at a time you might not notice a lazy eye yet and could make a big difference in their overall vision into adulthood. Most kids don't really react negatively to that. They kind of get excited because they already notice that they're having some troubles.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medical insight.
Hi, I'm Stephen Ray. At Miners National Bank, we offer local originating, local processing, local closing, and local servicing. For your next mortgage, apply now. minersmortgage.com.
Miners National Bank of Eveleth, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
CBS News Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley on CBS.
Get your new John Deere tractor from Duluth Lawn and Sport, the region's largest power sports dealer.
Coming up Friday on CBS3 this morning, the Superior Street reconstruction project is finally wrapping up. What you need to know. And we're in for a much cooler Friday with rainy conditions, followed by a very nice weekend. So wake up with us starting at 5 a.m.
CBS3 Sports is brought to you by Northland Lawn Sport and Equipment.
An unusual sculpture of world leaders has taken shape alongside the G7 summit in England. CBS's Ian Lee is in London with the story.
Among the lush green fields of southwest England, there's an eyesore, a heap of electronic junk campaigners call Mount Recycle More, built to put their agenda ahead at the G7 summit this week.
Shove it in their face. The world leaders, need to get their act together.
Unlike Mount Rushmore, Mount Recycle More is sculpted with electronic waste and scrap metal. Created to resemble every member of the summit, from British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to President Biden. While G7 leaders will discuss a number of issues, artists hope their message stands heads above the rest.
We can recycle things, that we can repair things, and that we don't just waste things.
It's estimated nearly 60 million tons of electronic waste is thrown out every year around the world. The UN expects that number to double by 2050 and says it could poison the planet.
70% of the toxicity that goes into landfill comes from e-waste.
Including everything from game consoles to old phones to cassette players.
Something has to be done about this. The manufacturers have to be made aware that this just can't go on.
Environmentalists say G7 leaders need to face up to the challenge and sort out the mess. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Campaigners say the group of 7 wealthiest nations produce 40% of all electronic waste. Coming up in sports, section titles for Northland Spring Sports, plus the Bucks still looking for their first win in the conference semifinals. Kelly is in next.
Medicare Decomplicated, brought to you by UCare. Question, can I keep my doctor with a UCare Medicare plan? Yes. With 96% of all Minnesota providers in our network, it's more than likely you can keep your doctor. See? Decomplicated.
It's a fact. We use our internet and TV more than ever, with most of us spending nearly 7 hours a day online. So it's no wonder thousands of families are switching to Spectrum. Because most families have up to 8 connected devices, which means they need even more speed. Switch to Spectrum Internet and get the fastest starting speeds for the price. 100 megabits for just $44.99 a month. With a free modem and free security suite included. Call 833-621-4499. When it comes to TV, we're watching more than ever. In fact, 80% of us watch TV every day. Spectrum TV lets you catch all your favorite sports, news, and more live. Plus, download the free Spectrum TV app and watch on your devices. Switch to Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-621-4499. The fact is, Spectrum has the best services at the best price. Switch to Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each with no contracts. We'll even buy out your current contract. Call 833-621-4499.
Hi, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. We are starting summer out with a great special on all our bathroom products. Right now, you can get 20% off your entire project and 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2023. Get your project off your to-do list now and not pay for it until later. Go to bathplanet.com or call us today to take advantage of this amazing offer. Bath Planet, out of this world service, down to earth price.
Ready for spring? Northwest Outlet is with a complete line of fashions for men, women, and the kids. From the North Face and Columbia's entire line. New colors, styles on capris, tees, shorts, rainwind, and fleece jackets. And UPF sun-rated clothing. Big bargains on sandals, rubber boots, and trail shoes from Keen, Teva, Merrell, Chaco, Columbia, and the North Face. See our huge selection of rubber boots and rain gear for kids. Get smart wool and darn tough socks for the whole family. Northwest Outlet Superior. We'll make sure you look good.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Bolins.
And I'm Ann Nolette.
And we're Advanced Surgical Associates of Northern Minnesota.
Our team has many years of general surgery experience and is the most experienced robotic team in the Northland. We are committed to providing the latest and best surgical techniques to you and your family.
With robotic-assisted surgery, you're likely to have a shorter hospital stay, experience less pain, and recover quicker. We offer our surgical care at multiple hospitals and surgical centers, and most insurance plans are accepted.
Learn more at mnsurgery.com or give us a call today.
Medicare Decomplicated, brought to you by UCare. Question, how much does a Medicare plan cost? $0. That's where they start with UCare Medicare Advantage plans. There's a plan for everyone with a range of benefits and costs. See? Decomplicated.
Now, CBS 3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
Milwaukee Bucks didn't put together their best performance that they had hoped for in their first 2 playoff games against the Nets. A pair of double-digit losses forcing what feels like a pair of must-win games back in Milwaukee. Could they get it done in front of 17,000 screaming Wisconsinites tonight for Game 3? The story for Milwaukee has been ball movement. If they can stay away from iso ball, they do all right. Just like this, Giannis with an angry one-handed hammer. It's 32-11 Bucks after a quarter, but the Nets got back into it and take the lead with under 20 seconds left. And all of a sudden, it's Holiday season. Drew Holiday puts the Bucks up one late. The Pfizer Forum faithful are loving it. The Nets had a chance to tie it with just seconds remaining, but Durant's shot goes off the back of the iron. Milwaukee escapes with an ugly 86-83 win to get back into this one. Game 4 is on Sunday. Well, more section championships continue today, and in Section 7 AA softball, it was a matchup between Proctor and Greenway. Greenway struck first, getting 4 runs in the first. Here in the bottom of the 5th, a base hit double from Hannah Anderson sends a runner home, making it a 5-0 game. Same inning, 7th grader Ava Johnson up to bat, beats the throw at first, gets an RBI single, and the Raiders now lead 6-0. Top of the 6th, Proctor does not want this game to end. They go on to score 4 runs to get this game within 2, but in the end, the Raiders go on to score 1 more run to become the Section 7 AA champions with a final score of 7-4. They grab the undefeated season for the first time in school history and a spot in the state tournament for the first time since 1994.
This group deserves it more than any group I've ever coached, so I just feel
I feel blessed to be a part of a team that was truly a team, and it just came together at the end and kind of was just capped off a magical year for us.
Especially not getting a season last year either. We knew this season needed to be something special, and especially since it was we also didn't get a state tournament for volleyball. So to cap out like this with my last sport, my senior year, is just unbelievable.
Pretty awesome. More section softball from Grand Rapids. The 7A title goes to Cherry, who answered 14 unanswered on Barnum. They'll represent at the Class A tourney next week. And section championship baseball wraps up today. The final few championships to see who will see their names in a Minnesota State program next week at the tournament. Evelyn Gilbert clawed their way into a winner-take-all championship game after taking the W over Aitken in Game 1. Aitken came out like a team that just got beat 13-0 in Game 2, though. Jake Ince singles on a ground ball to short. That would be the start of a 3-run first inning. We go to the third. Gobblers add to it. Logan Olson singles on a line drive to left field. A run will score all the way from second to make it a 4-0 game. Golden Bears finally get one back in the bottom frame. Wild pitch will send Tayduhan home. They're on the board, but they trail by 3, and Aitken is moving on. They win 14-2. Section 7A baseball, the title goes to Southridge. They defeat Northwoods by a final score of 14-0. They'll represent Class A next week. And a beautiful morning in Cloquet for Section 7A track and field. Tons of fan in support for this one. The first track event of the day was the girls' 4x800 meter run. A tight race on the final lap between Mesabi East and Two Harbors, but Autumn Smith for Two Harbors turns on her wheels on a crossing that finish line in first place. They finished with a time of 10 minutes and 10 seconds. For the men's 100 meter dash, Two Harbors Matson Granmo took first. And first place on the girls' side of the 100 meter dash, it was Emily Rengo from Esco. And some sad news. Millie Wall, the Minnesota Vikings superfan, affectionately known as Grandma Millie, has died, her family said earlier today. She was 102 years old. Wall went viral at the age of 99 during the Vikings' run to the NFC Championship game after the 2017-2018 season. That postseason, the Vikings gifted her tickets to their game against the New Orleans Saints, which turned out to be the Minneapolis Miracle game, in which Case Keenum threw a last-second game-winning touchdown to Stephon Diggs. Wall was a Vikings fan since they first played in 1961. Let's hope they get a Super Bowl for her next year. That's going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.